I bet 90% of you watching this video right now got your putter at some random store local to you because it just felt good that day. You seem to be making everything. You get to a course and then you can't make anything. Putters are the most frequently used club in our golf bag. Why don't more people get fit for them? And that is exactly what this video is going to be about. And I'm telling you, it changes your game for the better. So throughout this video, I'm gonna answer so many questions about putter fittings. What is a putter fitting? Why don't people get fit for putters like they should? When you are getting fit for putters, what are the things to look for? A behind the scenes look of my putter fitting when I went to Ping headquarters. Why is this putter fit for me better than the other one that I had? I'm also gonna provide various definitions, what things mean, and probably my very favorite part, you are going to go inside the Ping vault with me. Stay until the end because you will love this part of the video. It is fascinating. It is so cool. You will love it, so stay tuned for that. So first, I'll provide a little bit of background when I went to Ping headquarters. This was the first thing that we did when I went. There is this little extra room that we go in, and first when you walk in, it just says Ping and it's all lit up. It is so, so pretty. But behind there is where you actually get fit for the putter. They have this really cool machine where, I mean, this thing, they said how heavy it was.
So in our putting lab here, we have a special table we have people use when we have the space available. So this is a 5-piece of black granite, 70 tons in total weight. It's 1/1000th to an inch perfectly flat level. So it's the straightest, flattest putt you'll see.
Wow. The coolest thing ever. It's like, gosh, it's like 25 yards long. And the reason why it's so heavy is because they don't want any outside environment things to affect the roll of the putt. So that's why it's so big and so heavy. Another thing too is they use their special software called iPing.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna hook you up to an app called iPing. iPing is going to measure how you deliver the putter and how consistent you are in 5 different categories.
And it connects directly to the putter itself. Then you go through various sessions. So one session is 5 putts.
From there, we can kind of fine tune some of the specs and details and find maybe what is a reason why maybe a mallet or blade would be better, or, you know, different things of stroke type and loft and lie. So we're going to kind of take out any vulnerability of the putt breaking one way or the other, or speed. We have everything just adjusted down to where it's the same putt, straight as can be, to where now we're just going to focus in on you and how you're delivering the putting stroke.
Perfect. And within each session, it collects a few pieces of data that really help, you know, determine what putter you fit in the best.
I am going to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, for sure.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
And then I'm just going to get a quick wrist to floor measurement on your left side. So just stand nice and tall, just arms nice and loose at your side, just look straight ahead. Perfect. So let's call it 33.5. You are playing slightly longer than what you measure to. Like I said, not that it's wrong. As far as where you're playing consistently, what kind of green speeds you normally seeing? Kind of fast, moderate, a little bit of everything?
Like 10 to 12 on the stimp. So they're pretty quick right now. Yeah.
Okay. On straight putts, to push or pull anything?
Push.
Push?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you tried different shapes before? Or have you always predominantly been in a mallet style?
So I started golfing not too long ago.
Okay.
So I started with a blade that my dad had.
Yep.
And I got eventually fitted for the mallet. So I've only had 2 different looks or styles.
Styles. Okay.
No.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I am open to suggestions.
Perfect. Perfect.
So here are the various things that it measures, and it's not just iPing. There are also a couple cameras too that really help, you know, the software itself. What it measured was face angle at impact, shaft lean, hand position, closing angle, lie angle, tempo, and consistency. Now you're probably like, what the heck does all that mean? Some of it's pretty, you know, simple to understand, but some of it's like, I had no idea what some of it meant, but now I do. And after the end of each session, depending on those stats and pieces of data, it gives you like, this is cool, it gives you like a handicap. They have a leaderboard on the side of all of their pros that they have on their staff, and they have their own handicap on the side based off like how well they're hitting their putter. I think mine was a plus 2.3, which means I was very consistent. So I was very pleased with that number. Anything in the pluses is super good, just like a handicap. So let's dive into definitions of what all this data that they're collecting means. So first off is face angle, and I have my putter here that I got fit with to help explain these definitions. Face angle is pretty simple to understand. The angle of the face when you're making contact with the ball. So that can be open, square, or closed. Open club face when you are making contact with the ball. If you're a right-handed player, means you're starting the ball out to the right. Square is down the middle. And closed is you're starting it to the left. So obviously the goal is to have a square angle at impact. Next is shaft lean. That basically means when you are set up at your address, is the shaft kind of forward? Is it neutral or is it back? The goal is always to have a more forward shaft lean, because when you have a more forward shaft lean, it helps get the ball rolling instead of kind of hopping off the face.
The other thing that didn't really change is shaft lean. So that's kind of an interesting part as well, is that we're not seeing much change in the shaft lean, which is good. That just tells us that with even a different hosel, you're still delivering with the hands a little forward.
And that goes into the next one, which is hand position. You want your hands a little bit more forward at address, so it helps with that forward shaft lean to get that ball, start rolling instead of just hopping off of the club face. Next is closing angle, and this one, I didn't really know this one at first. Basically, closing angle is how much is your face rotating through the stroke. I actually had a pretty large closing angle, which means I rotated the face a lot through my stroke. I had no idea. I thought I was pretty neutral. I thought I was pretty like straight back, straight forward. I didn't know I had so much of an arc when I putted. So that was new. That stat in itself has a lot to do with why I ended up with this putter.
The biggest thing I'd say is your closing angle is becoming a lot less rotational. So you're kind of able to release the putter a little bit more, which will be nicer.
So the next one is lie angle, and that is different than shaft lean. Instead, it's just talking more about the club head itself and how it's laying on the ground. So when the toe is pointed up in the air, that means you are more upright. And when it is more like heel is up in the air, it means you're flat. So obviously you want to be neutral, flat on the ground.
Lie angle's not surprising because this is a little bit longer length, so I think it's kind of throwing it off as far as the setup feel-wise. But I think over time we would still want to go a little bit more upright with the lie angle.
Next is tempo, and that is basically the timing of your putting stroke. And I was actually really surprised about this too, and it is also another reason why I ended up with this putter. I have a pretty slow tempo with my stroke. I had no idea. I thought I was pretty quick. When you're standing over the ball, you don't realize how slow or fast you are. I thought I was pretty quick, but I'm slow apparently. So when you are more slow tempo, you need to figure out a putter that matches that tempo. Same with the closing angle. You need to find a putter that helps match your stroke, and that's basically what a putter fitting is about. Figuring out your stroke, what you're working with, and then have a putter that is fit for you and your putting stroke. And last, I already kind of explained this, is the consistency score, and that basically puts everything together, your whole entire stroke, and how much you're able to constantly repeat your putting stroke. And that has to do with address, where your hands are, the putting stroke itself, everything, where you're making impact. It puts everything together, and that's huge with golf in itself. Consistency is king on the course. Okay, so this is the putter that I ended up with, but before I dive into that, I'm going to describe a little bit of what I used to have. Hopefully that putter stays and doesn't fall. We don't need her falling. She's helping me out on the course, so I'm putting it all back together so she doesn't fall. We're good. So I got fitted for my first putter, I want to say 2.5 years into golf. It was pretty late. I didn't know there was such thing as a putter fitting. For the first 2.5 years of my golf career, I just ended up using a putter that was in my dad's golf bag. You can get used to it and work with it and try to find a stroke that is good for that putter, but you might not realize that club might be working against you. And I said that in a previous video. Clubs, when they're not fitted for you correctly, they're not fit for your current swing, your tempo, your swing speed, all of that. I got my first putter and I was fit for kind of like a thicker blade putter. And that head itself was actually a pretty heavy head. I handed that down to my dad and he's using it now and he absolutely loves it. But later on throughout my career, I went to college and I got fitted for a new putter because I thought it was time to maybe venture out a little bit. Maybe something is out there that's better for me. The goal is to score when you're in college, so I thought maybe a new putter would have helped. So I got fitted for the new putter. It was a mallet, so I went from a blade to a mallet, which that is different. My tendencies with that putter was to push a lot of putts and I would miss them out to the right.
That's kind of the push you talked about there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like I struggle to release it a little bit. Going into that, knowing kind of what your tendencies are really helps the fitter, you know, kind of put you in something that helps fix that tendency. So breaking down a little bit when I went through the fitting, again, I started with my original putter.
So we're going to attach this to your putter towards the top end of it, towards the grip side. We're going to line it to your sight line just so it sits nice and flush. So what we're going to do is just have you hit 5 putts with this attached. We're going to kind of go through all the numbers afterwards and kind of give you a little breakdown. In that case, it's just more of how consistent we are at delivering the stroke there.
Okay.
Yeah, you just rock whenever you're ready.
Okay. Got my scores on iPing, and based off of the data that I collected, he was able to then put me in different putters that he thought would improve those pieces of data. And everything that I did, we used iPing in order to see if there was any improvements or no improvements. One of the putters that he fit me in was the Oslo 3, and that is kind of almost like a half moon looking putter.
So roll 2 or 3 with that one. So this is our Oslo 3. So this is a PLD milled series. So this is a solid block of 303 stainless steel with an aluminum neck.
It feels a little bit heavier.
A little heavier than in head weight. This will have more of a clickier sound. It is 35, so it is a touch longer, so you can choke down a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're kind of gauging a little bit of feel here in this section right now.
Okay. I liked this putter, but I continued to try other ones.
And then this is our new Scottsdale series. Same kind of head shape, but it has what's called a P-back insert, which is a same thing. It's actually probably in the bottom of your tennis shoes. We use it a lot in running shoes. Gives it a little bit more of a softer sound, a little bit what we would then tell is a little bit more softer feel.
I feel like this putter feels like what I kind of have.
It would be as close to what you have now, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a really close match. How do you like that shape?
I'm not opposed to it. Okay. No.
The other one we could look at is kind of this one here.
Okay.
So it does have that really big dominant line on top. I know it's kind of something you have now, and I know you're kind of talking about kind of your eye dominance, and some of this can be a little bit just visually, just kind of see what you think.
Yeah. It has the same sound, but
Same
it feels
sound.
lighter.
Slightly different material on top as well, so it's aluminum. It is slightly different in weight, not by a ton, but it is slightly different.
This was actually the last one that I tested, the putter that I have currently. And this was the Twine H putter.
The other option, which would definitely go lighter, would be something like this.
Definitely. Definitely is lighter. And as soon as I hit this, it definitely felt lighter than the other clubs, which I kind of liked.
What do you think between the three? I know it's maybe
The one, okay, get them all out again. It's between these two. I actually kind of like this one.
the one in your hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
It feels lighter, for
It's
sure.
lighter, so that might give us the ability to release the putter maybe a little easier than with a heavier head weight. It is also a slight stroke category, so it's gonna have a little bit more ease kind of rotating that face through impact and kind of close in, kind of releasing that
it feels
face.
very easy
Yeah.
to release. And that's what I felt like I was struggling with, but yeah, it feels really nice when you hit it. I gravitated towards this because I felt like I was able to release the putter head a little bit more, and all of the putts went dead straight right in the cup.
Yeah, right in the center.
Yeah, when I putted it the first time, I recognized like, okay, that went dead center. I instantly fell in love with this because there were better results.
Your impact stayed the same, tempo stayed about the same. And I mean, eye line is in a good spot, but like I said, that lie angle, I think good thing here is like you'll see there's that rotation, but right there, striking location is right in the center. So
Different.
A lot better there. I think it's just more of the fact that just kind of getting used to it a little bit more in time would help create confidence. I mean, I'd say changing the complete another style to something completely different is just going to take a little bit of time. But I would say it's something that I would say over time, that consistency score would just probably keep shooting through the roof. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like it. And another thing too that, you know, people just go to a store and just pick out a grip. And that's what I did with the other one because I thought it felt good. I forgot to ask you, does grip size have anything to do with any of these numbers? I have small hands, so I just got this grip like at a PJ Superstore just because I thought it felt good. So, just curious.
It can effectively change some things. I don't think it's enough to where you would see the numbers dramatically change, especially with somebody who's a good putter. Like it's going to be a small change.
This grip is like a diamond shape, and he asked me this really, really interesting question. Where do I like to feel the grip when I'm holding the putter?
Do you like to feel more of the grip on the top with your thumbs or within your knuckles?
Like in here.
Yeah, like on your palms, like in your knuckles.
Right.
Is that where you like it the most?
Yep.
That would be a better option because what it is, it's kind of
I never got asked that question before. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's definitely one because there's some players that are really focused on where their thumbs are positioned on top. Some of it could be like left hand lower claw. That's really going to be a dominance of top where the top feels like. You're going to want a flatter surface on top. But with this particular grip, it's kind of a diamond shaped. So it's really rigid in that backside. So it's really going to give you a pronounced feeling in the palm area, which players like that. They want to know where it feels like this. Like the other grip I gave you is more rounded. You're not going to feel as much in the palm, in the backside, knuckle side, more of in the side of your palms than that. This would do. So.
Yeah, I never have been asked that. So after you pointed that out, I'm like, maybe I'm definitely right here.
Like I said, it's not a question many people ask when they're looking at putter grip, but it's definitely because like swing grip is obviously a big thing. Is just texture is number one, and then looking at the size is also a big part of it. But getting that texture down first, because obviously it's the only thing you're connected to the club with.
Right.
But if you give like somebody like a rough grip to a soft grip, like once again, easy in the head. Where if we start feeling like rough, like it's sandpaper, I just I'm already losing that person. So. Same thing with putter grip, but I think you get a little bit more detail as far as where the feel is.
Right. I like to feel it in my knuckle area. Some people like to feel it in their thumbs. So since I like to feel it in this area, he said that this putter grip is actually the best one for me and that I perform the best with it. So it made a lot of sense. So another thing that he asked me that I thought was interesting, like how do I like the feel of the putts? When I'm making contact with the putts with all the different heads, do I like a softer feel? Do I like a more harder feel? And I told him, I'm like, I don't really care. You know, I don't really care about the sound when it comes to the putter like I do with my driver. I love a good sound with my driver, so that's different. But with the putts, I don't really care about the sound. The feel with my putter, I don't really care either. But so that didn't really have anything to do with the putter that I chose. I like to see putts going in, so I'm gonna choose a putter that I'm gonna make more putts with. And that is exactly what this Twine H putter has given me. So overall, with this putter that I have gotten, it is lighter than my other putter. The grip is smaller in a completely different shape. The putter head itself is a completely different shape. I never had a putter like this before in my entire life. but I absolutely love it. And since this club is lighter, and if you can see, if I hold it like right here, the toe kind of falls downwards. My other putter was like this. It was really almost square. And that means this putter has a lot of toe hang, which means a lot of weight is on the end of it. So I'm able to rotate through the putting stroke so much better, and I'm able to close the face and have a square contact every single time it impacts. So that has really, really helped with my consistency. Putter fittings are supposed to help you match your tendencies or match your stroke, and this putter just definitely does that. The smallest little things with golf clubs makes the biggest difference, and that's why it's so important to get fitted, especially for putters. I mean, putters are the most frequently used club in your bag. So that kind of wraps up the Ping fitting session that we had. It was super informative. It was a great experience that I had. I never used something like iPing before in my entire life, and how unique is that? They're just able to fit any and all golfers. So please, if you have any questions about this putter fitting, please drop comments below. I will answer as many as I can, which I normally answer everybody in the comments. So please drop any questions or comments if you have, anything you want to add. So now let's go to my favorite part, and probably something that I will never forget. It's checked off of my bucket list. I went inside the Ping vault. Now, I've seen a couple videos on TikTok of the Ping vault where it was like this gold room with all these putters, and I'm like, man, that looks very pretty. And I'm telling you, it exceeded all my expectations. This place was immaculate. When I opened that door, everything just glowed.
Wow, this is incredible. I don't even know where to start.
And I can't even describe it.
Am I allowed to touch them?
We have white gloves if you want to touch them.
Yeah. I was like, this looks too perfect to touch. I knew I couldn't, that. This is incredible.
The lighting just was perfect. It was so pretty, but the beauty is one thing, but the history is another. Every single putter in that vault was someone who won on the LPGA, PGA, amateur, some sort of high-end golf tournament.
So tell me, what is the significance of the vault?
Yeah, so the vault basically is us honoring players using Ping putters and winning events using our product. So Carsten Solheim, who's the founder of the company,
Yeah.
he started this with basically making a replica of two replicas, one for him and one for the player, of what they used to exactly win that tournament with. We'll build the same exact specs they use. So the same length, this is kind of a different grip, right? So a little different grip. This one even has a little bit more of an added sight line to it.
Yeah.
So we built it, two of them, same exact specs. We then hand etched their name, the event they won in the year that they won it,
Wow.
and then send it to a place to have it plated in 14 karat gold.
If you won a major, that is different.
What we do with the major win is that the putter is not plated in gold for the player, it's actually solid gold.
Wow.
So that is the difference with the major, which these are all majors by decades on this wall.
Okay.
That was crazy. I saw putter styles in there that I've never seen before. One looked like a half watermelon. I'm like, what the heck is that?
First one was back in
I've
1962.
never seen anything like that before.
The dock? Yeah, the dock was kind of an introductory to going to a big mallet size shape. So there's a couple there. Suzanne Pedersen has a couple down here.
Oh, wow.
The most famous one is the one she used to win a major. So she actually won, I think it was the 2007 McDonald's LPGA event.
That putter was really interesting, and that was kind of the intro to a mallet putter back in I think he said 07 or 05. I got to hit the putter that made Ping its name. It's called the 1A.
That gave us our company name, which is right here. This is called the 1A.
The 1A.
So this is what Carsten started with first. So this was the first putter he had patented in 1959. Partly did it for himself to become, he was really bad at putting, we were told to start with. So we designed a putter that had some heel and toe weighting to it,
Yeah.
and made it a little bit easier to putt than a putt-putt style putter. What I'd have you do,
Wow.
if you can go one hand, we're going to give you a golf ball here.
When I hit this thing, it made the coolest sound I've ever heard in my entire life. This, like, it's a ping.
I hit it dead center. That's awesome. Really cool.
Went perfectly straight. I'm like, I want to take this home with me too. But all jokes aside, it was really, really cool. I got to see Tiger Woods. I held Tiger Woods' amateur win. He had like 2 of them, I think.
We also do U.S. Amateur wins as well. So U.S. Amateurs is kind of this row here. You might have heard about this guy.
Oh, wow.
So he's got, back when he was an amateur, he's got his too for Tiger.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah,
Wow.
so 94, 95 U.S. Amateurs.
But another thing that was really unique was Bubba Watson also won a tournament, and they didn't make a putter for him. They actually made a wedge. I believe it was a crazy looking wedge.
For me personally, everyone has a little different favorite. This is when Bubba won his first Masters. He used that wedge to hit that crazy hook shot out of the pine needle / trees
Yes.
to win. So we made him a solid gold wedge head that he used to make that shot with his insanely crazy grip, which is a mid-size. It's changed recently, but I think at this time it was kind of a combination of 14, 12 wraps, I think. He's changed it since, but the other interesting part is if you look at his setup, the lining sits at a 45-degree
Oh my
angle.
gosh.
That's where he likes
How
to have
crazy is that
that
look?
Ping logo line up and everything there. So
Oh
that's-
my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What an incredible area. I've seen so many like videos of this,
Yeah.
but I never knew like the meaning behind it, and it just shows like how much you appreciate your players, and I love that.
Again, if you have any questions about the vault too, please drop them in the comments. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. It was so much fun going there, getting to experience that, but I also get to share everything with you, everything that I learned, and just help you improve your golf game in so many different ways, whether it's on the course or off the course. And most importantly, I want to thank Ping again for giving me the opportunity to see the vault, have the one-on-one experience to get fitted for an entire bag. I'm so forever grateful. It was the best time. Even though the weather was iffy, I still had a great time. I'm used to the weather being bad wherever I go. So that doesn't matter. They want the best for all golfers. So with this new putter, I have confidence over all my putts. My putting stroke is consistent every single time, and I'm absolutely loving it. Don't forget to follow me on my other social channels. I have an Instagram and a TikTok where I post so many educational videos, quick tips, some great fun lifestyle content as well. Also subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell so you know exactly when I post the next video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.